Yo, what is going on, everyone? Mike Sparacino, a.k.a. Shades, here alongside my co-host, Brendan Mulroy, a.k.a. Mogoon, a.k.a. The Big Goon. It is episode number 17 of Backup Blueshirts, and Brendan, I just have one thing to say. Do you know what it is?
Are you going to ask me who I'm going to dedicate this episode to first?
No. I'm going to do that second because I want to get this off my chest. Artemi Panarin is a New York Ranger. That feels so good. So, now that I got that out of the way, who are you dedicating this episode to?
Doobie!
Brandon
Dubinstein.
Dubinsky.
The legend. I'll never forget the game where he fought Ovechkin because I happened to just go there and I happened to have like 6 seats for that game.
Lucky bastard.
And it was incredible. And they fought. And it was fucking hilarious.
Dude, Doobie was actually my first favorite Ranger before Zuccarello.
Legend.
What? He is a legend. It's fucking Brandon Dubinsky. How do you not love that guy?
That's right. Rangers should get him back. I'm just kidding. But
if it was like 3 years ago, yeah, maybe. But now, nah.
I'm just fucking around.
I would love Doobie back. You kidding me? Fucking love that guy.
But Mike, you just said it.
Artemi.
You broke the news.
Fucking Panarin.
The bread man.
The bread man.
The bread man
is
a Ranger.
A New York Ranger.
Finally. After he had to scare Rangers fans for like the last couple of days, trying to make
seriously.
like he was going to sign with the Islanders. But psych! That would have been pretty goddamn hilarious if he would have signed with the Islanders, though. Not for nothing, but anyway. Like, yeah, I'll sign with the Islanders, but just to sabotage them, so he signs like a $15 million contract.
Oh, God.
But he puts up 800 goals a season. Because then everybody finds out that he's actually just a fucking robot. He's not even a human. But anyway,
he's a robot on steroids.
He's just a Russian robot that Vladimir Putin sent over to the NHL to destroy it.
Yeah, he manufactured him in his own private secret lab.
But
you know how these things work,
Mike. You're more of a numbers guy than I am, so please throw out the number for everybody.
Artemi Panarin signs a 7-year deal with an average annual value of $11.642 million. And
what was it, like $500 billion in signing bonus, basically?
Pretty close to that. It was it was in the $70 million range.
Fucking insane. Holy crap. But actually, also to talk about Panarin, he's number 10.
He chose number 10.
He chose number 10 over number 27.
Yeah, they put a video up on, what was it, Instagram, Twitter? It was one of them.
It was probably all of them.
Anyway, they put a video of Panarin walking into the locker room. 27 and 10 are right there for his choosing, and he just walks right up to 10, and the guy he's with goes, just like that? He's just like, yep.
I would take number 10.
And I was just like, damn it, Panarin, I wanted you to wear 27.
I'll take number 10 for the number of enemies that I once killed back in Russia.
Or the number of goals he scored against the Rangers in his career. Yeah, that's what it felt like.
Basically, yeah. 10 goals a game player against the Rangers. But anyway, wow. It almost feels weird saying it, that the Rangers actually decided to take a chance on a free agent that's actually in his prime.
Big name free agent who's in their prime.
That's actually in their prime, actually paid somebody.
Like, this actually happened.
Yeah.
I'm still in shock a little bit.
I know, it's actually hard to believe for once. Usually they're used to signing the guy that's already like 40 years old and then sign him for a more overpaid contract. To see them actually sign somebody that's, what is he, 27? 27. It's actually pretty nice for once.
So you were referring to Brad Richards, even though they only gave him like $5.5 million, but they gave him like 13 years or something.
But
might have been 11. I don't know.
But man, what a move! And the Rangers got to sign Trouba next.
Trouba,
we're assuming Trouba's gonna get 7.5. Maybe he'll take a little discount.
Yeah, I'm assuming around 7.5.
I mean, the Rangers made. The way that they addressed the Panarin situation, I liked it. They basically said, here's what we're gonna pay. We're not getting into a bidding war with anybody. So I think Panarin basically wanted to come to the Rangers. I mean,
oh yeah,
really, honestly, if it's $1 million difference for you to go play in Long Island and then play in Manhattan, like from what I've heard from listening to other podcasts,
yeah,
and hearing other players talk about the Rangers, they literally say that there's just no other team that does it like the Rangers. Like, just basically, like the way that they live and shit. Like when they're on, even when they're on the road and when they're home, like they just have the best of everything. Basically, best food, best hotels and shit. So.
Best bread?
maybe the best bread. Like I said, dude, I'm not even gonna get a jersey. I'm just gonna get a fucking Wonder Bread shirt or something like that, and just write Panarin on the back of it.
Dude, I honestly,
Hey,
if
listen,
I go to opening night this season, I honestly might bring a loaf of bread with me and then just split it with people before the game.
if anybody has a Miller jersey, you might as well just duct tape, put a piece of tape over, and just write.
That's what our
write his
boy
name
Matt
on.
did. That is what our boy Matt did.
That's how I would do a Kako if I had a Ryan, if he goes with number 24, but hopefully he doesn't stay with 45 because that's just an awful number. Sorry to offend anybody that has that number, but
What are you trying? Well, nah. I had 54 once
fucking
when I played basketball.
Aaron Asham, one of the worst numbers ever. But anyway,
Yo, Aaron Asham, fucking. He
fucking
scored, dude.
is on Rounders, too.
He scored in Game 7 against the Capitals in 2013. Game-winning goal, first goal of the game. Don't you dare disrespect Aaron Asham.
Whatever, man. Primarily an Islanders player, so
Still scored a big goal for the Rangers in the playoffs. Can't disregard that. Can't forget it. And speaking of who else the Rangers signed, they signed 2 AHL forwards, Danny O'Regan and Greg Kaplan.
Danny O'Regan, fucking Ray from Blue Bloods.
Excuse me, Danny O'Regan.
Anybody that watches Blue Bloods knows that's literally Donnie Wahlberg's character name in the show. So that's pretty hilarious.
Remember your dad showed me that show once. I've seen like 2
It's
episodes.
classic.
Good show. Good
Classic.
show. Should watch more of it. But other than that, you want to just dive into the other signings?
Yeah.
You know,
But you know what, though?
hundreds of millions of dollars.
Before we
given out?
dive into the signings, though, let's talk about the Rangers still for a second.
Let's do
Because I
it.
think we have to talk about the fact that with signing Panarin, the fact that they're going to sign Trouba.
And they also have to re-sign Booch and
Yeah,
D'Angelo.
Booch and D'Angelo and Lemieux.
And Lemieux.
And Lemieux.
And Lemieux.
So basically, the Rangers have a little bit of a cap crunch right now, basically.
Yeah, we
so
do.
We're, there still might be some moves for them to make, basically, in free agency.
There
So
definitely is.
I'm just wondering now, who do you, and I mean, apparently there's a lot of rumors floating around with Buchnevich getting traded,
To me, it doesn't make sense right now.
but why?
Well, one, yes, we got Panarin, Kako, and Kravtsov, but Kako and Kravtsov have not played a single NHL game yet.
Yeah.
They're not proven in any way, shape, or form.
So you're saying we shouldn't, that's the reason why we wouldn't trade Buchnevich?
Exactly. I'd rather have a known 50-point scorer than 2 highly touted rookies but who have yet to play an NHL game ascend to above where he was right now. It would make no sense to me.
I could see that.
And
Well, I
plus
mean,
you
basically,
can't-
out of everybody
well,
that...
And part of me, the fan inside, doesn't want to break up the KZB line.
I mean, in all honesty, I feel like if the Rangers... I mean, obviously, Kreider's name's been coming up on trades for a while. But in all honesty, I mean, from what I've read and what we've just heard as fans from media and stuff, it sounded like the Rangers were going to try to move Kreider at the draft.
to Colorado.
And they didn't. And the fact that they didn't move him, to me, almost seems like I don't know if they're going to trade him now at this point.
I don't know.
Like, it's interesting. I don't know if they're going to trade Kreider.
Well,
But in all honesty, like, I mean, out of every guy's name that I heard of, we were just talking about it before. I mean, like, if it came down to having one, I want to keep Lemieux. So I really hope that we can sign Lemieux.
Yeah.
I mean, and obviously D'Angelo, I think we need to sign too. I
Yeah.
mean, I would kind of be disappointed if we lost him on
I mean,
defense.
D'Angelo is probably our best skater on the team,
Yeah,
at least
I would
on the
say.
defensive side.
Definitely. Yeah, he is probably one of the better skaters. I mean, and same thing, like, is Stroma a free agent also or no?
He's got 1 year left.
Okay.
That's
so
that's
maybe
still
that's
such a
potential.
great deal that
Yeah,
Gordon
basically.
made.
So
Schooner
even to
for
see
Strome.
somebody like him move, that almost would make more sense. So he has this season basically before he becomes a UFA.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they traded him, I can understand it in a way, too, because basically you want to dump somebody to make cap room for some other guys you're going to keep around. So if he's not part of the plan, I guess I could see them moving Strome, even though he's good. I mean, everybody, I really hope they could move Nemestikov.
Yeah, no, I've been
But
on
then
the
again,
move
they have-
Nemesnikov
but the only-
wagon for a while now.
I was reading an article, and they did bring up a good point, though. I mean, he is kind of like a veteran Russian player, even though he's not even that old, right? I don't
He's
even
like
think he is.
25.
Yeah, he's not even
26.
that old. So maybe with Panarin coming in, basically, I mean, he could probably be the veteran Russian guy for these. What do we have? 6, 7 Russian players if you include
Possibly 7.
Nemestikov in that.
Yeah, possibly 7, depending on what our roster
And like
looks
I
like
said
opening
before,
night.
I mean, Chris Kreider technically counts as Russian. He speaks
half
Russian, so he's half Russian.
7.5.
So it's about seven and a half if you include Kreider. But
he speaks fluent Russian. It's amazing.
yeah, fuck man. Yeah, that was a point our buddy was bringing up though to me with the Rangers and cap crunch and shit, and I was like, that's a pretty good point. That is a pretty good point after we signed Trouba. But then when you think about it down the line, they're really only in a cap crunch for about the next 2 seasons, basically.
Yeah,
because once
much.
they lose Mark Stahl and Shaddy
and Smith
and Hank,
Lundqvist's contract comes off the books.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna have. I think that all comes together for till about like it's about like
20
million. I think
that's at least 22 million right there.
Yeah, so
that's
that
at least
itself,
22 million.
That in itself, I mean, they basically had they picked a pretty good time to sign a top free agent.
Yeah, they did.
Because basically, when you think about it down the line, one, he's only going to be 29 in 2 years.
Exactly.
And then you'll actually have more room to sign another top free agent at that point.
And no, in 2 years,
basically.
the Rangers might be a legitimate top 5 cup favorite in 2 years.
See what
next year, we'll see.
I mean, in all honesty, like I'm hoping they make the playoffs, but I don't even know if I should really be expecting them to make the playoffs. But I mean, then again, they do have a pretty good team now.
Hey, I'm just looking at it this way: we've had nothing short of a spectacular offseason thus far. If we make the playoffs next year, great. It's a signal that the team's ready to take a giant leap forward. If not, it's another step in the process.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. I mean, I would like to see.
Editing this in, part of the audio got cut out for some reason while we were recording, so I'm just going to pick it up right where we left off because we were talking about Artemi Panarin. That would be fantastic.
He had 87 points this year. And basically, he hasn't hit. I mean, honestly, I think a nice first step for him would actually be to hit the 30-goal mark for one season because he hasn't actually hit it technically.
You serious?
He's come close, but he hasn't scored 30 yet.
Well, he has 116 goals over 4 seasons. What did he get? Like 29
times or something? He's basically had. I pulled up the stats. He basically has had. I think he scored like 26, 28, 29, 27 or something along those lines. I'll pull it up right now.
He can definitely hit 30.
So, I mean, the first
especially if he's playing on Zibanejad's wing.
In all honesty, the first step for me would be for him to. Yeah. Oh, no, I actually apologize. He has hit it twice. I misread.
Way to go, Brendan.
All right, we're going to have to edit
giving
that
the people. No, I'm not editing that out.
Fuck you, Shades.
False information.
Fuck you.
Hey, now you corrected yourself. That's all that matters. All that matters.
All right, you're going to have to edit all that cursing out. No, but yeah.
Nah, I'm
all
good.
Right, so, excuse me. Well, you know what I meant to say was 40 goals. No, I misread my numbers. I apologize. He has hit it twice, 30 and 31. But the next step would be for 40 goals.
If he can get 40 goals this year, I mean, he's going to be pretty much the new savior of this team.
Yeah. I mean, his point totals over the last 4 seasons have basically been higher than anybody else that the Rangers have had. So
yeah, he's like 7th or 8th in the league in total points the last 4 seasons.
The one thing I won't fuck up on, he's basically a point per game player.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
So, all right. But let's move on from Panarin and the Rangers for a second. And let's stay within the division for a second because we have to talk about the Islanders. Obviously, the Islanders didn't sign Panarin.
After all that speculation of
and they
12
didn't sign
million.
Bobrovsky, which
no Bobrovsky.
Bobrovsky signed with Florida for, what was it, $70 million? 10 for 7 years, right?
Yep.
So $10 million a season, basically.
I got a couple texts saying, holy Bob.
That's insane. That is fucking nuts, man. Well, Luongo retired, which we were talking about last episode, so I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, and they traded James Reimer for, who was it? They traded James Reimer to, what was it, Detroit for Mrazek? Or am I getting the names mixed up in teams? I remember texting, but anyway, they traded for a goalie who was making more against the cap just to buy him out to have a dead cap hit on their books for 4 years. And then they go and sign Bobrovsky. I'm like, what was the point of trading and then buying the guy out who was making more against the cap? That didn't make any sense to me. But hey, I'm a Rangers fan. I'm not a Panthers fan. So you guys keep doing what you're doing. Editing this in too because I'm an idiot who doesn't take notes. before we record, it was Scott Darling from the Hurricanes.
But in Islanders news, so they didn't sign Leonard
Because they went after Bobrovsky, and that basically kind of pissed Leonard off. And then when Leonard went back to the table to negotiate, it was like different terms that they had initially agreed upon, and Leonard was just like, all right, I'm out.
I don't get that move by the Islanders, honestly.
That's just a bad move.
I just don't get it. I mean, granted, I guess they're looking at it from the standpoint that they had Leonard was sick, but Greiss was also good at the same time, so maybe they feel like Greiss could be a number one guy. But, I mean, for them to just not sign Leonard
after the year
after the year that he had for the Islanders.
And then they end up giving Varlamov a 4-year
deal.
They
ended up signing Varlamov.
Who 3 out of the past 4 seasons had a much worse year than the season that Leonard just had. So, doesn't make much sense. You downgrade for the same amount of money, or at least cap hit.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that was a hell of a pickup by Chicago. I mean,
yeah, Robin Leonard.
We were just looking it up. Cam Ward is a UFA now. So, and Corey Crawford, he was out. Then he came back. Then he got hurt again. So Cam Ward was basically their starter. So I'm assuming Leonard's going to start over Crawford, but I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know if Crawford's going to get seniority in that sense, but not that I really care. But
I just cracked my big toe. It felt great.
And also the Devils made a move, signed Wayne Simmons to a one-year, $5 million contract.
Deal. I was actually pretty pissed about that because I was just like, any team but them, and I would have been happy.
Yeah, because that means that's more games that we have to see fucking Wayne Simmons.
Yeah,
you know what, actually? But if the Rangers get Lemieux, if the Rangers sign Lemieux, because we have to sign him, right? He's a
free agent, yeah, restricted.
Clear that up for myself before I say something stupid again. But I would love to see Wayne Simmons and Lemieux drop the mitts. That would be sick.
Ooh.
Just so for that sake of it, I'm glad that the Devils got him.
And how about Trouba and Subban drop the mitts? or Subban and D'Angelo.
That would be kind of cool, actually.
Well, I mean, D'Angelo's pretty much got the death punch ready for him, right?
In all honesty, if the Rangers and Devils really want to stir up rivalry, first game that they play against each other, Hughes and Kakko should just fight each other at center ice.
Great.
Everybody should just clear out of the way, and Hughes and Kakko would just drop the mitts.
Just a full-on bench brawl, and then literally everybody is in the penalty box. It's just 5 minutes of nothing.
Yep.
Besides the goalies.
It's just the goalies have to score on each other. NHL hits. NHL hit status. But all right, Mike, why don't we move on to the 850 more million moves that were there's just so many moves that have happened over the last 2 days.
It was 851.
There's so many moves that happened in the last 2 days. We're really going to try to get to all of them. We're going to try to mostly stick to the big name ones, and then we'll touch upon some of the little ones, but there's just been so many names and so many things. For example, I just read 5 minutes before we started recording that apparently Jason Spezza signed with the Maple Leafs.
Yes, he did.
No fucking idea that happened.
Wait, hold on. Wait. Before, I'm actually glad you brought up the Spezza signing first. Before we get to the rest of the free agent signings, fucking Dubas made a fucking trade. Holy shit, man.
Oh, you're talking about the Maple Leafs?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was a hell of a fucking trade, man.
The Maple Leafs in Colorado, basically Nazem Kadri, it might have been Connor Brown.
Listen, all I know is I'm not even a Maple Leafs fan.
I honestly
if I was
like
a
that
Maple
trade
Leafs
for them.
fan, I would want to get rid of Kadri for what he's done the last 2 years in the playoffs.
Yep.
So, I mean, just for them, it's got to probably a sign of relief for them, to be honest.
Honestly,
and to get Barry's pretty good, too. So.
And they also got Kerfoot in that deal, which is pretty good for them. Kerfoot was pretty good this past season. But
yeah, it's kind of just a win-win for both teams, basically.
Yeah.
Because Colorado is fine on defense. I don't even think that really affects them that they lost Barry that much, to be honest.
No, they got some pretty good guys
coming up.
Yeah, especially they just drafted Byram too, and McCarr.
And McCarr is sick. So
yeah. No, they're set in the future.
That was a smart move for them.
No, I think it was. I'm doing this off the top of my head, so I apologize if I'm wrong. I think it was Kadri, Connor Brown, and a 3rd-round pick in exchange for Barry, Kerfoot, and a 6th. So Colorado gets the 3rd. So I like that trade for the Maple Leafs, not going to lie, but I just looked at their cap situation, they have literally one defenseman signed past this year, and that's Morgan Riley.
Yeah, and their defense is struggling.
And they are already in a cap crunch.
And
so I'm going to say this right now. If the Maple Leafs don't win the Cup in 2020, they're not going to win it for at least another 5 years after that. Unless they make miraculous moves to stay under the cap and stay very competitive.
who is it that is also UFA for Toronto? I was just reading it before. Who did I bring up? Defenseman.
Muzzin.
Gardner?
He's gone.
No.
Yeah, he's leaving. He's not re-signing with them.
Right,
They
so
don't have
no,
the
but
cap
I'm
space.
saying, was he the one that was a UFA?
Yeah.
All right. Because I know I read it and I want to bring it up.
Well, Muzzin's a free agent next year. Let me just clarify that. But yeah, no, Gardner. I saw something. He's down to like 3 or 4
Yeah,
teams.
I mean, now that we're on the Leafs for a second, we might as well just talk about, Marner is obviously who they're trying to sign. Now that we're on them, we might as well talk about the fact that they traded Marlowe to the Canes, who are just most probably just going to, they bought him out already.
I'm pretty sure they did.
Yeah.
If they didn't, it's official. They're going to buy him out.
But I was hearing that they wanted him to play. So it was like, why would they buy him out to sign him to a less deal? I don't get it.
Hey, they still got a first-round pick out of that deal.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's a bad move, but I'm just
honestly,
saying.
It's a pretty good move either way.
But
for
Marlowe wants to go back to the Sharks.
Apparently, yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, you think he'll I guess he could take less money if he got bought out, right? I mean.
Yeah, and honestly, Carolina was one of the only teams who could actually afford to buy Marlowe out because the thing with 35-plus contracts, the cap hit doesn't get spread out. I'm pretty sure you pay the exact cap hit over the duration of the rest of the contract. So they're paying the full cap hit for the year.
Yeah.
But they have plenty of cap space, so they don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, but I mean, we were talking about Toronto before, and obviously they're trying to sign. They're gonna. Is he a free agent right now, Marner?
Restricted free agent right now.
Free agent. So shit, they're gonna have to sign him.
Just speaking of Leafs, ex-Leaf, now current Ottawa Senator Ron Hainsey signs a 1-year, $3.5 million deal, and that's a lot to me for Hainsey. I mean, he's old. He's old.
I didn't even know that. See, I'm glad you brought that up.
Dude, I was literally glued to my TV from like 1 to 5 yesterday.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten to some of the other big. We haven't even gotten to some of the moves that have happened on the West yet. But
no.
But anyway, we were talking about. I mean, they're gonna have to sign him. I mean, I'm assuming he's gonna get a massive payday, Marner.
He better get a massive payday. He deserves it.
Yeah, I mean, he's a beat. I mean,
if Aho got 8.5, you know what? Speaking of Canada teams, Sebastian Aho got offer sheeted by the Montreal Canadiens. We saw an offer sheet.
Yeah,
it actually happened.
Who knows? Maybe there'll be one for Marner.
I don't know, man. But
let's say the Islanders should just offer sheet,
but
offer sheet Marner and piss off the Toronto Maple.
Seriously though, fucking the Canadians are stupid for that offer sheet. They basically, the compensation would have been, I think, a first-round pick, a second-round pick, and a third-round pick. And I'm just like, at that point, just give them an extra $1 million and an extra first-round pick, because they made the decision for Carolina so easy to match that offer sheet. It was pretty much a waste of time.
I mean, we were
like, it was literally, it was laughable.
If the Islanders were to offer sheet Marner, wouldn't they have to give up like
4 first-round picks? Because Marner's, if you're offer sheeting Marner, you're giving him like $12.5 million.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, I would love to see that happen, but I don't think it's going to. I mean, just for the future of the Islanders, it kind of just makes no sense.
No, it doesn't. But hey, we saw an offer sheet, and I'm actually... July 1st this year was very entertaining.
Oh, absolutely, man. There's so many goddamn moves. How about
Breadman?
How about out west? We got freaking... We'll start with Nashville. Why not? Just because they came to my head first. They signed Matt Duchene to a what was it? 7 years, $56
million deal.
$56 million. So
Wait,
8 per
excuse
season.
Me. Yeah, $8 million average annual value.
I honestly, I mean, I like that move. You think he's a little bit overpaid, but I don't know.
I don't know. He's pretty... I mean, he is inconsistent.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, I also feel like he's also been moved around a lot. Like,
yeah, true.
Guy played on 3 different teams basically over the last couple of years. So,
I mean, he's a proven nutcase. So I'm not even trying to offend him.
In all honesty, though, he played on Colorado, who is not what they were now, a couple years ago, and then he was on Ottawa last year, which is just a joke. You might as well that was a terrible position to be in.
Oh yeah.
And then when he was on Columbus, I mean, he was okay when he first got there, but I mean, he kind of turned it up in the playoffs. So for me, if I'm Nashville, who's most probably going to be, they've been back in the playoffs for so many years.
Yeah, they're banking on that playoff
success. I could see it from that standpoint. So I don't mind this signing. Basically, they ditched Subban's contract. So, I mean, I look at it this way: to sign a guy that is going to make $1 million less per year. Well, I guess in that sense, it would have only been for 2 years because Subban only had 2 years left on the contract. But I think he's going to 3 years. 3 years. Yeah. I think we said 2 last episode. And
if we did, we're sorry.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that I heard it was 3. So you're definitely right on that one. But yeah, I don't mind that move for them.
No, it's not terrible. But the thing is, they already have. They had Nick Bonino, Kyle Turris, and Ryan Johansson.
Nick Bonino.
I still hate Pittsburgh.
But anyway.
Good call, though. Funny call.
But, yeah, I don't know, man.
I mean, they... Don't get me wrong, they have a lot of center depth, but, I mean, they're paying 3 out of their 4 centers $6+ million, and they're paying 2 of them $8 million.
Yeah.
And they're paying Bonino, over 4, I think. So, that's a lot to dedicate to your centers. Especially, that's more than a quarter of your cap dedicated to centers. But hey, Nashville do Nashville. You guys are a playoff team, so
yeah,
you keep doing what you're doing.
We might as well talk about another team.
We have nothing against you.
We might as well just talk about Dallas at this point. They're out west.
Oh wait, before we go to Dallas, I just want to bring up that Vancouver caved in on the Tyler Myers sweepstakes and gave him 5 years, $30 million for $6 a year.
You basically were talking about that last episode, weren't you, Tyler Myers?
Yeah, I'm just glad he didn't get $8 million. That's all I'm gonna say. But the Maple Leafs, the Canucks get a right-handed defenseman, which was one of their needs on their roster, so they filled the need. That's all I got on Vancouver at the moment. So let's talk about the Stars. They stole Joe Pavelski away from the Sharks.
I can't even believe,
their captain, God.
What was honestly, the thing with that? Did he just not want to re-sign with San Jose?
I'm not sure.
Because I'm honestly, in all honesty, what happened last year in the playoffs and how, they kind of, rallied behind him, I figured he would maybe sign with them again.
Yes,
I wasn't even thinking that he wasn't going to re-sign. But they're interested, too, San Jose now. Because
Dallas signed him to 3-year deal worth $7 million per, which honestly I think that's a great deal.
Yeah, especially because he just came off one of his best seasons in recent years.
Yeah. I would have given him $8 million.
That was a good move.
I would have given him $8 million. That's a very good deal for them.
And then also another good deal basically was getting Corey Perry for 1 year, 1.5 with also performance bonus as well. I didn't see specifically what that was. I don't know if they came out and said what the performance bonuses were, but he's got an opportunity to earn more money. Plus, for him, it doesn't matter anyway because he just got bought out from the Ducks. So for him, does it even really matter to sign that deal? And there's no risk for the Stars to sign the deal anyway. It's $1.5 million. It's not really much of a risk there.
No, that's it. Honestly, after getting bought out by the Ducks, he's got something to prove. That's a very low-risk signing.
I mean, and a disappointing aspect from Dallas. Unfortunately, Zuccarello didn't re-sign in Dallas, so that means we don't get a second rounder.
How is that disappointing for them? That's disappointing for us.
That's what I meant to say.
It's disappointing for us.
Excuse me. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, fucking cowards. So Matt Zuccarello, our beloved Norwegian hobbit, my boy, one of the first.
Hey, listen, maybe it will be disappointing for Dallas, all right?
Hey, maybe. You never know.
But I meant to say for us.
But our beloved boy Matt Zuccarello signs with the
again,
Minnesota Wild.
Yeah, I don't feel bad for Zuccarello, though. I just feel bad for us because we didn't get another pick.
Yeah, no, I feel good for him, though. He got a 5-year deal worth $30 million, $6 a year.
Like we were saying before, the goddamn Rangers weren't going to give him that money, so glad he got that elsewhere.
With the way Dallas's offseason went, they weren't going to give him either. So I honestly think Dallas had a very good offseason so far. Pavelski, Perry, and they also signed Andrei Sekera or Sekera. I swear he changes the pronunciation of it every year, to a 1 year, $1.5 million deal. That's actually not a bad pickup by them. Didn't he just get bought out by the Hurricanes too, Sekera?
I'm not too sure.
He
I'd have to
might
look
have.
that up before.
He either got bought out or he was an unrestricted free agent. It was one of the two. But, I mean, hey, you get a defenseman in Sekera, a winger in Perry, and a winger/center in Pavelski. That's pretty good offseason.
Yeah, definitely.
Free agent-wise.
Yeah, and to bring up Pavelski and to talk about the Sharks for a second, I don't know, it's interesting to think, are they going to bring Marlowe back for maybe a 1 year deal? Are they going to bring Jumbo back for a 1 year deal? Because he hasn't signed with anybody yet. And also, who do you think is going to be the captain?
That is a
honestly,
Couture.
Yeah, I think Logan Couture should get the captain.
I think it's time for him to get the C over there.
Definitely. I agree with that.
Now, if Pavelski re-signed, I would have kept the C on him, but now he's gone. I think you should give it to Couture.
I think Logan Couture should get the captain, too. Glad we agree on that one.
Yeah, there was literally no arguing about that whatsoever.
I don't think there's any argument between anybody, unless maybe you're a Sharks fan. You think Brett Burns should get it or something, but I would go with Logan Couture. Anyway.
I love how we said we were going to do this in a particular order, but we kind of just already started jumping around.
I think we did it how we said we were, which was kind of stay in the conference, which I think is just easier to do.
All right, so now that we're in the West, let's talk about two goalies that basically swapped places via free agency. That is Mike Smith and Cam Talbot. Mike Smith goes from Calgary to Edmonton on a 1 year, $2 million deal. That's pretty low for him, but hey, all right. Good value right there. And Cam Talbot goes from the Edmonton Oilers to the Calgary Flames.
That's a good pickup for the Calgary dude.
Ex-Ranger. On a 1 year, $2.75 million deal. So both of them pretty much have something to prove. Their teams give them a low-risk deal.
Fuck, man.
1 year deal gives them something to prove.
If I'm
maybe
Calgary,
get
honestly,
back to the starting position.
That's
at least for Talbot. Smith is kind of old.
That's not a bad move for them. I mean, we've seen as Rangers fans what Cam Talbot's capable of.
Oh, yeah.
So if I'm a Calgary Flames fan, that's kind of like a low-key good move.
No, I like it for them. Yeah. I mean, they've struggled in the goaltending position for a while now.
Who's their backup?
It's not much for
Riddick.
That's Calgary, yeah.
Yeah, and then they had Smith last year. And funny enough with Smith, he actually might play better on Edmonton because Smith is one of those goalies that they literally had a stat on him, I swear to God, a couple years ago.
The more shots he faces, the better he plays.
He was 3-1 in games where he had gotten 50 shots on net.
Oh, yeah.
So that might actually happen a lot in Edmonton, so maybe that'll work out better for him.
Mike Smith is a beast.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you're talking about a guy that literally it was him during the All-Star game that shot the puck from the other side of the rink and put it right through the middle. I'm pretty sure that was Mike Smith. Look it up. But what other moves have we done? I feel
we just mentioned the Zuccarello trade the signing of Matt Zuccarello by the Minnesota Wild. They also signed Ryan Hartman to a 2-year deal worth $3.8 million, 1.9 per.
What else are we?
That's a decent pickup by them. Are we
missing anything that's been key? I'm trying to think about it.
Well, I mean, we already said Artemi Panarin and Bobrovsky.
Yeah, but I'm thinking of anything else that I can think of off the top of my head.
Oh, just off the top of my head, former Ranger John Gilmore signs a 1-year deal with the Buffalo Sabres.
And also your boy, speaking of former Rangers, didn't you say Brandon Peary as well?
Brandon Peary did sign. That was a very under the radar because I didn't even hear about that. In all seriousness,
yeah, there's been a lot of moves.
Oh, there's a few we've missed. There's
basically
a few. Yeah, I'm going through my list right now. Jesus, dude, the Panthers signed a shit ton of people.
Oh, dude, we're missing one of the most important ones from fucking. Yeah. Well, now that we're on the West, we might as well talk about Arizona. Totally, almost forgot about that. Arizona traded to get Phil the hot
dog man Kessel.
Galchenyuk. What was that? And was it a first round or fourth rounder?
It was something along those lines, but the trade was basically Galchenyuk for Kessel.
Hey, listen, man. I said it right now.
In essence.
Phil, if he plays with Derek Stepan on a line, you mark my words right now, he's getting 40 goals this season. Only if he plays with Derek Stepan as a center. Otherwise, he's not going to.
All I'm saying is I just want to see Phil Kessel in the July 4th hot dog eating contest against Joey Chestnut.
It should be.
That's all I want to see.
What it should be right now, the line should be, I'm not an Arizona fan, but I actually do kind of like them a little bit just because they have Derek Stepan and Grab.
Dude, they're a dark horse for a playoff team.
But honestly, I would love to see, tell me you wouldn't love to see this line. Don't think it's going to happen, but Derek Stepan, Grabner, and Kessel, that'd be sick. I could actually, in all honesty though, if Grabner, I could actually see Grabner playing with Kessel on a line because Kessel did play with Hagelin, so it's possible.
That is very true. He did.
That's a good point. So I wonder if Grabs and Kessel actually play together.
I'm looking at my list right now. Arizona made a couple other signings, but nothing really too noteworthy.
There's a lot of there's actually a decent amount of notable.
Yeah, honestly, Arizona didn't really do
free
much
agents,
in free agency.
Though.
They were really
Oh,
just
and
the
we
Kessel
forgot
trade.
actually. Now that we're talking about the Rangers before, we totally forgot to mention that we got rid of Vesey. Didn't even bring that up. Jimmy Vesey.
That's right, Jimmy Vesey, ex New York Ranger, traded to the Buffalo Sabres in exchange for a 3rd-round pick.
So I mean, I guess some rumors here on the internet are
I think
pretty
it was
true.
2021 third, not a 2020.
I guess we kind of figured that one was happening. I mean, that was pretty. We thought we were going to trade him at the draft, so for him to go, I wasn't really surprised.
I was expecting him to be the 2nd or 3rd guy move, not the 1st.
Yeah.
So
I think
that
I
caught
guess
me by
once
surprise.
they didn't trade Kreider, I mean, I guess. But basically, they had to trade Vesey to make cap space, basically. So,
Speaking of ex-Rangers, Anton Stroman going back to the Florida Panthers. Signed a 3-year deal worth $16.5 million, $5.5 per. Good for him, man. That's the deal that the Rangers should have given him in 2014 over Girardi, but yeah, it didn't happen.
What do you mean the Rangers aren't going to get Dan Girardi back on a 1-year Veterans League minimum deal for like $750,000?
Yeah,
because he's basically getting paid.
Shattenkirk and Smith first.
Yeah, that's true.
Dude, we have a surplus of right-handed defensemen.
Honestly, if Kevin Shattenkirk ever listened to this podcast, he'd be like, I fucking hate these guys. These fucking assholes.
How you doing, Mr. Shinpads?
He'd be like, these guys are a piece of garbage. Like, if I see if Brendan
Rangers
Smith
fans,
liked
baby.
it, I wouldn't even, I'd be like, whatever. Shattenkirk's like a little bit cooler because he has a better rating, and Shell also. Just throw that out there. But, dude, like, now that we're talking about Shell first, I had to bring up, dude, Shattenkirk is sick in that game. And it's just like, I wish that he was as good in real life as he is in Shell.
You mean you wish he's as good as you play with him in real life?
That's true. That's true. But anyway, now that we're off that for a second, notable free agent that we have to talk about, I'll ask you because I don't remember if I read it correctly or not. Line RFA? RFA. Apparently, I saw a rumor that the Islanders could potentially offer sheet him. I guess they would have to offer sheet him at that point.
Yes, they would.
I mean, shit. I mean, supposedly he wants to leave Winnipeg, according to this report. I don't know how true that is.
Well, Winnipeg is going to take a step back next year. I mean, they've already lost Trouba.
And they also lost Kevin Hayes.
That's an upgrade.
I just said that just to piss you off. But, yeah,
That's
so they're going to
upgrade.
lose Trouba, obviously. Line, who also, he pretty much hit a decline this year. I mean,
people were literally saying that was the worst 30-goal season of all time.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah.
What
I mean,
is
he's
he had
basically
1 goal in October,
I'm pretty,
18 or 19
I'm
in
pretty
November.
sure, though, that he's hit 30 goals every season.
I think so.
So that's something to move forward with if you're signing him. I mean, he turned it up, though, when he kind of needed to. He was pretty. No, but in the playoffs, though, he was pretty smoking hot. He scored like in 4 games in a row. So I think that definitely upped his value again at the end of the season. But I guess we'll see what he signs for if another team doesn't offer sheet him. But
yeah, Panthers also. Well, going back to the Panthers for a sec, they signed like 4 guys. I'm pretty sure they signed Brett Connolly, to a 4-year deal worth $13 million, $3.25 million. They also signed Noel Achari. I mean, they made a big thing about that on NHL Network. I watched the thing.
Oh, they were saying that Boston should have signed him?
I think so.
Yeah, he was pretty good for them, man. I mean, not for nothing. I kind of zoned out for a second. So where did you say that he went, Achari?
to Florida. When
It's
I
not
can,
a bad move.
when I can find the average.
In
annual
all
value
honesty,
here,
though,
that'd be great.
if when you evaluate, we were talking about when we did the Stanley Cup episode, Achari was basically one of their better players on the fourth line.
He signs for three. Wow, he signs for a 3-year deal worth $5 million, 1.67 per.
There's been a couple like random moves that we didn't really touch upon. Like Columbus got Nyquist for a 4-year contract.
Bring that up. I like Nyquist. I think that's a good move for them.
And also another one that we
speaking of Columbus, they also re-signed Ryan Murray.
Another one that we didn't bring up. I meant to bring this up before. Now that I'm on it with the Avalanche,
Donskoy.
They got Donskoy and also Bellemare.
They got Bellemare
from the Knights.
Nice.
And they
Donskoy at 3.9 per for 4 years. I like that contract for them. I'm jealous. Colorado's stacked. They are stacked.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm just scrolling through the the Islanders lost Filppula. He signed back with Detroit.
Yes, he did.
So I'm just scrolling through at this point just to make sure that we got everything.
Yeah, 2 years, $3 million per.
You're right.
Meyer re-signed with the Sharks 4 years, $6 million per.
Conley also signed with the Panthers as well. Wow, so they basically...
Dude, Washington made some moves, too. They signed Richard Panik for 4 years at $2.75 million per.
And they also...
They re-signed Hagelin before free
Hags.
agency. Could have sworn they made one more move.
You know what? Now that I want to talk about this for a second now, because I just read this and I was literally talking about it with somebody the other day.
They made some depth signings.
I can't remember with the Devils, but I mean they made some decent upgrades on their team. Obviously Hughes, Subban. If you want to call Simmons an upgrade,
I mean,
I guess
it's something they didn't have.
But I'm just so curious. The one thing that they haven't fixed yet, basically, is goaltending. And I just saw this that Kincaid signed a 1-year deal with Montreal.
Yes, he did.
So now Snyder, that's it. I mean that's it.
I don't know, man.
All right. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's all I can think of offhand.
That's probably their worst thing right now. I mean, if you're a Devils fan, I guess maybe you disagree, but I would say, being honest, that's definitely your worst thing right now.
Yeah, speaking of goalies, Detroit signed Calvin Pickard to a 2-year deal. Not bad for them.
The only UFA goalie that I know of right now, at the top of my head, is Cam Ward. So unless the Devils is to sign him out of randomness, I don't know who else is gonna. Unless they have somebody developing that I don't know about. But
yeah, that's pretty. Colorado gave Colin Wilson a 1-year deal. That might have been an extension.
There's a lot of
$2.6 million.
I didn't realize before.
Curtis McElhaney signed with Tampa.
I didn't realize before that you had when you talked about Peary, I didn't realize he re-signed with the Knights.
Brandon Peary.
Rangers power play goal leader at one point.
Literally.
Just want to throw that out there.
And Vigneault hated him.
The fact that he was fucking leading the Rangers in power play goals is just hilarious. He had like 8 goals and he was leading the Rangers power play.
Yeah, pretty much.
But we should definitely try to get
yeah, that's pretty much all the big.
Hopefully we can dive in and kind of evaluate the Rangers a little bit more when maybe we can get Rick back on the pod. That would be nice.
Maybe. Oh, Columbus also signed Mark Letesto to a cheap 1-year deal.
So I like him. I think we pretty much touched upon everything in the free agency, basically.
Yeah, we pretty much did. Even though we jumped around a little bit, we covered pretty much everything. We
jumped around, but we did all right for the bulk of the episode. I'd probably say the last 15 minutes has kind of just been shooting out random names, but anyway.
Well, I mean, the list I had was in no particular order, so.
Now let me ask you this. Let's end it with this. It's hard to say now.
You know it's not going to end on this, but yes, go ahead.
No, it will. Because
we'll
this is our last. This is our ending. This is our ending discussion.
Oh boy.
So far, honest opinion here. Who do you think so far? It's hard to. That's why I was saying it's hard to say because it's only been literally 2 days of free agency.
Who won free agency?
Who do you think is won free agency so far? Do you honestly think it's the Rangers with picking up Panarin, or do you think it's somebody else?
In a way, yes, because they got the biggest name, the best player available in free agency on a deal that was cheaper than what other teams offered. So in that aspect, yes. In other ways, I think the Dallas Stars did very good with Pavelski, Sekera, and Corey Perry. And to round out a top three, I would probably say definitely not the Islanders.
Honestly, they'd probably be, so far, not to shit on them, that I think they would probably be one of the biggest losers so far in free agency, basically because they didn't add who they wanted to add in Panarin and Bobrovsky, and then not that Anders Lee is bad, but they ended up just re-signing him. So if you're an Islanders fan, you kind of have to be a little bit disappointed. But
you know what?
There's so much more left of it. That's why That's why I'm just bringing this up, just out of just discuss, just for the fun of it. I mean, we can really come back to that in a couple weeks.
The third to me would be between Florida, because yes, they got Bobrovsky and Stroman, even though Bobrovsky's contract is a little much, and also Duchesne to Nashville. Yeah, you know what? That's not really a top three, but
no, I can agree with you, because also let's not forget.
I'll go Florida.
Let's not forget with Florida
to round
also
out a top three.
They made a good move. Achari's a good move too.
Yeah,
that's a good move. That's like a low key solid move, especially how he played with Boston. That's a really good fourth line guy.
Yeah, and also Brett Connolly. So
and
yeah,
Brett
I'd say Rangers, Stars, Panthers top three,
and that's just for
solely
now,
on free agency.
Just because we just want to end it just for fun discussion, but we could definitely come back to that topic whenever we record next, because I think we have to see what's going to go on in free agency first. Also, before
the rest of it.
Definitely.
I mean, Jake Gardner's still a UFA. Joe Thornton's still a UFA.
Yeah.
We still got a bunch.
Who might get offer sheeted? That's an RFA.
That's very true too.
If there is, so.
Well, I mean, there was one, so we did get a treat this July 1st.
That's true. But let's see if and honestly, most entertaining would be if Marner or Line got an offer sheet.
Also, dude, if one of those, if Marner got offer sheeted,
did I say
Kachuk.
Before? Yeah, I was gonna say Kachuk, but dude, I mean, if you're Calgary, you have to resign him.
Yeah. All right, that was fun.
That's it.
That was fun. So thank you very much for listening. This was episode number 17 of Backup Blueshirts, dedicated to the one and only Mr. Brandon Dubinsky. The Dubinstein. Thank you.
Man with one of the filthiest mustaches of all time, when he just had that stash going for a while back in the day.
No, Crosby's mustache was pretty bad.
That's pretty bad, but yeah. Brandon Dubinsky's mustache, if you need a Google reference for this, he literally just looked like he was like a porn star from like 1970. Look it up if you haven't seen it, but if you're a Rangers fan, you definitely have.
Thank you for everyone who listened to our last episode, because it was our most successful episode across all the platforms that we run the podcast through. Hopefully this one will be right up there with it. Got to continue to grow. If you want, follow us on Twitter at Backup Blue Pod. Follow us on YouTube, Backup Blue Shirts Podcast, and Podbean, Backup Blue Shirts Podcast, the two places we post our podcast episodes right now.
I'll put this out there right now. I think I'm gonna make my Twitter debut.
Oh boy,
on the pod page. I don't know when that's gonna be, but it's coming.
Oh boy, that might have to be an episode in itself. Wow, Brendan just shocked me right there. All right. Thanks, everyone, for listening. We'll talk to you next week. Don't forget, Backup Blue Pod, Twitter, YouTube, and Podbean. See ya.